Hey there.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So you can unload and then park up there.
Yep.
Can't park here, but that's fine.
So this is us. Is the Ferris wheel going to be on? Oh, okay. Okay, day 2. We are loading up. We are outside. I was hoping we were going to be under the tent, but we're not. We're outside at the Ferris wheel, performing out there. There's a crew right there.
I did one last.
We're back. We're back. It's hot today.
It's hot. Like,
Yeah.
80?
Yeah. We're gonna have to see how people dance today.
Right.
Is it I thought at least the top was gonna be covered.
There's no top?
No, not that I can see.
That's it. This is it.
This is
Oh,
it.
I was like, damn, the vendors are taking their time.
Yeah. No, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful day today. So this venue requires you to have a vaccination card and, or I don't want to say and, or you have to have a COVID test within 72 hours of the event to make sure you're clean. Then when you get here, they do a temperature check just to make sure again. So that's as thorough as you can get, I think. You know, everybody's afraid of COVID, but I mean, the whole purpose of the vaccinations and the tests, the temperature screens, is to be able to do things like this. So we're gonna be able to take off our masks because everybody's supposed to be safe. We shall see. I mean, it's hot as hell. It's hot as hell. They didn't provide us with a covering, so we're trying to get one of those right now because we need one because, like I said, hot as balls out here. All set up. Strangely enough, they wouldn't allow us to keep our poles up because they got in the way of the aesthetics of the nature. So I ended up putting my poles back in the truck, put the speakers right on the table. It's not like I'm using turntables anyway, it's not that big of a deal. And we got a covering. They never provide the DJ. When you tell them there's certain things that you need, they always fail to do that. So I needed to put a covering over the computer because you guys all know sun and computers do not mix. Okay, so let's show you what I'm using today. I am using the Eon setup here. I got them on the table, as I just said. They didn't want the poles, so they wanted to keep it nice and clean. So I got the Eon's 2 515 XTs. I got the Eon 518 on the bottom right here, and then the Eon 610 is my monitor. I'm using the DDJ 1000 SRT and then the Phoenix PTU 700 and then the MacBook. But it is hot. There's no shading over this area, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. And even the tables don't really have covering. So these people are going to get hot. They're going to start to sweat a little bit. We'll see if they want to dance, but it's kind of hard to dance right on the outside. We'll see what happens. It's going to be one of them days. Okay, so this could have been an absolute shit show, but I was prepared. Now, I wasn't as prepared as I normally would like to be, but I was prepared enough to get through to the event and make the event successful. I can't stress to you how important it is to actually have some form of a secondary backup system for DJing. You got your main computer, you need to have something else that in case some stuff goes down, you can recover while you're trying to fix the thing. Now, that could be an iPad, like what I have. That could be your iPhone. Algorithm DJ has some great apps that will allow you to continue to mix while using your smartphones and tablets. You could go heavier. Get yourself a dedicated controller with the hard drive already built into it, like the Denon Prime Go, even the XZ with the USB thumb drives. Those are all ways of having some form of backup in the event some stuff goes down. There are a number of people that use, 2 computers, and that's also an option, and I'm cool with that. Now, some people do get a little extreme. Like I've seen some DJs with literally the computer that's playing the song and then a secondary computer that's playing the exact same song. So if something goes wrong, they can quickly move over to it. That's great. You're prepared, but that's a little too much for me. But to each their own. I'm not here to judge. Now, I was prepared, but I wasn't nearly as prepared as I normally am. I had to go pick up equipment from another place. I was using the equipment that we rented out to another DJ, so I didn't have what I normally have been using. I have been using the Rain 1, haven't really been using the DDJ 1000, but I figured, hey, why not? So the DDJ 1000, as great as it is, won't allow you to use the Algorithm DJ on the iPad as a native system. The Algorithm DJ for iPad is compatible with a number of controllers right off the bat. DDJ SX2, the Rain 1, you can plug it directly into the iPad and you can mix like you were using your own computer. Now, I brought the DDJ 1000, and of course it doesn't work natively with the iPad. So I had to run iPad out of the headphone jack, obviously with the adapter, headphone jack to RCA. Now I want to talk a little bit about the heating issue. Now, we all know that the weather's changing, we're moving into summer, and it's getting hotter. Normally speaking, I'm in a completely covered area, so it's never really been an issue. But in this case, I had a umbrella over the DJ setup because where we are in California, there's a lot of party planners that have their own visions in mind about what they want, and they want to use their stuff, and that's what you got to use. When we first got there, clearly there was no shading whatsoever. I forced them to get me the umbrella, which they did, but the problem was it was like 93 to 95 degrees and it was extremely humid. So there's not a lot of air passing through in order to cool off your computer. Now, I was using the MacBook. Yes, I do have a PC also, but it wasn't updated with the most current music, so I didn't bring it. This is my 16-inch MacBook Pro. Haven't really had issues with it, especially with overheating or anything like that. But we all know that Serato can be a little processor heavy, so it's already running the processors harder than they probably need to be. Neither here nor there. As it started to overheat, it didn't freeze up. I just noticed the distortion in the audio, and that's typically signs of processor overheating. I immediately plugged in my iPad while we tried to figure out a way to cool it. I told my girl, go get me some ice. Let's figure out a way to get this done. She brought me a bag of ice. We put it down over a towel. Yeah, I know. Some people say, don't do that. It's bad. Whatever the reasoning for not doing it, at that point in time, it was more about cooling off the computer. That's all I cared about. I didn't care about repercussions of what it could or couldn't do. I cared about cooling off the computer. We're able to put it under there with a couple of towels, and then it started to cool off after about a half hour. In the meantime, I was using the iPad until it cooled off. There's a couple of things that I would definitely recommend, especially if you're using a slider. In this case, I was using a slider case for the DDJ 1000. I realized something that I didn't realize, or at least I didn't think about before. Sliders with carpeted bases is probably not the best idea. You see, MacBooks, for anybody that doesn't know, MacBooks have fans, but the aluminum is their secondary heat sink. So that allows the MacBook to not have to throw their fans on, so they're not blaring in your ear. So it's using the heat sink of the processor, and then that's funneling through into, so I believe it's some copper underneath it, which is then funneling through to the aluminum chassis, which is why the base gets so hot on a MacBook Pro. So it's wise to have your MacBook on a hard surface. That way the heat can pass through and then channel its way out. Most sliders that I have used have carpet, which is like the worst thing to have because all it's doing is literally holding that heat in. Which then leads to it heating up faster than it probably should. I'm not saying sliders are a bad thing. I love sliders and they work and they're very convenient. But in this case, when it was super hot, I probably should have just put it on a stand next to it and not thought about it. That's on me. I can't stress to you how important it is to have some form of backup. I did an event this morning, a grad ceremony. I didn't want to use my computer at that point. I brought the Denon Prime Go because it is dedicated. I know it doesn't have those heat issues that the computers may have. And I'm not here to talk about, oh, well, it should have been a PC because the PC has all these ports and it probably would have done better. I know Macs that have had issues in the heat, and I know PCs that have had issues in the heat. So that's something that is always going to be a part of the DJ life. I mean, you've probably seen pictures of people with ice bags on speakers because it's an issue. Direct sunlight and computers and speakers and hardware don't mesh. So it's very important that you have some sort of covering if you can. If you can't, then you got to think about, okay, since I'm out in the extreme temperatures, I have no covering, full exposure. It's probably best to go with an iPad that's kind of designed for this kind of thing, or your phone. But even your phone can get stupid and then go into that whole temperature freeze. So I have always had good experiences with the iPad and with the Denon Prime Go. Having said all that, it's probably good to still have your backup iPad or your backup phone just in case you do get some crashes and you got to run headphone jack into XLR directly into the speakers, which I've done before. So just these are more cautionary tales. Just realize that this is a part of the summertime events, and for people that are in, the very humid areas that are just naturally hotter, these are things you have to be concerned with. Now, I'm sure you people out there probably already have solutions in place, and put them in the comments below. I want everybody to kind of see what you guys are doing. And for people, if you're new to DJing and you've only DJed in the comfort of your home or the comfort of being inside of a venue, this is a real thing. So please take my advice, get some form of a backup, and you won't run into issues. Now, like I said before, I didn't have an issue because I had a backup. But had I forgotten my iPad, or I didn't have anything on my phone, and my phone, I did have my phone, but the little adapter, lightning to headphone jack, was acting stupid, as sometimes they do. Put them in the comments below. Let me know what you guys are doing to combat the heat, and let's get it all out there. That way we can help everybody, not just the people that know. All right, guys, if you found this useful, hit that like button. If you found it really useful, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on the Instagrams and the Twitters. Always a pleasure. If I don't talk to you later, we'll talk soon. Peace. I haven't done a gig log in forever. I'm going to start doing gig logs again. Let me know if you guys are interested. When I first started doing gig logs, nobody really cared, but maybe things are different now. So let me know in the comments below if you would like me to do more gig logs. I got tons of gig log footage that I just never put out. So let me know in the chat. All right, guys. Peace.